Independent retail business can mean so many things these days. A brick and mortar store, an e-commerce business, a maker's online shop, a booth at an antique mall, and more. No matter which category you're in, Kathy Cruz, a fellow retail business owner and retail educator, will teach you how to market and manage your business efficiently so you can spend time doing other things you love. Welcome to the Savvy Shopkeeper Podcast.
Welcome to episode 92 of the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast. Community matters. I'm your host, Kathy Cruz. Before I get started, I just want to say that I sometimes wish we did like blooper reels so you can hear how many times I flub words or my editor has to cut things out or I say something in Spanish out of frustration. It's pretty funny. That's exactly what happened to me when I started recording this episode. I think I started over about 4 times to spare my editor having to do all of that. So my intention for this episode is to recap the inaugural Savvy Shopkeeper Retreat because the entire experience was incredible. I know I said that last week if you listen to the bonus episode. But more importantly, I want to share who helped make it so incredible. I knew the retreat would be special, but it was way better than I imagined. It was magical, and I don't really use that word, so you know it was special. First, I want to start off with a shopkeeper shout out. And I talked about this person last week in the bonus episode, but I want to mention her again. The shopkeeper shout out this week is for April Peterson and her husband, Mike. They are the owners of Fruchthaven Farm in Greenville, Michigan, where I hosted the retreat. When I interviewed April for the VIP dinner event or during the VIP dinner event, we sat in the coziest little spot in one of her restored 100-year-old barns. April's story, charm, and sense of humor had everyone captivated. And as I wrapped up the interview, I mentioned how it's been great to see how April and Mike have essentially become these like small business incubator. So many of their team members are also building small businesses of their own, and some of them are doing this within the farm. It's really interesting. So one of their baristas is their hand lettering artist. She also performed live with her fiance during the retreat. Another barista will be opening this really cool vintage style barbershop that's opening up in the cidery. I think that's happening in the next week or two. And then another team member is now, I think she's the florist in the marketplace that they have at the farm. It's just all really interesting to see. And I love watching April and Mike nurture these small business owners. It's special. But what I didn't realize is that Savvy Shopkeeper is also a small part of their incubator. April saw my vision for this retreat. She saw what direction I wanted to take Savvy Shopkeeper in. And she gifted me with the ability to host the retreat there because she knew my vision included having this retreat on a beautiful property. And then she gave me the help of their incredibly talented and so kind event planner, Kristen, who also had a helper with her. Her name was Journey. The whole thing was really just a gift to be able to host it there, to have the help of some really talented people on their team. And to be part now, I feel, of their small business incubator, even though I didn't realize it at the time, it is special and I appreciate it. So I want to make sure that I thank April and Mike for that and that I want them to know that I identified that, even though it was after the retreat happened. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So I titled this Community Matters, and there's so many reasons why. When I announced the retreat, we were still in the midst of a pandemic. It was scary, of course, to try to plan this. I was optimistic, but it was still scary. Not only did I not know if shopkeepers would buy tickets, I also had no idea who would help support this event. Because again, it's not just a one-woman show. Hosting a business retreat, especially with the vision I had, is no small feat, and it comes with the large, scary budget. Nevertheless, I took the leap of faith and knew that I would also support quite a few other small business owners in return. From the local Greenville vendors, so many of the vendors, the florist, the caterer, the photographer, the AV company, they were all local small businesses in Greenville. And then the Cleveland small businesses that I supported, a baker, a printer, a sign company, and several others. Yes, community matters to me. Small businesses matter to me. I do my best to walk the walk and talk the talk. It's not perfect all the time. I did order a few things from Amazon, mostly because of timing issues, but I worked really, really hard at supporting many small businesses for this retreat. The first person that I want to mention is the signature sponsor. Maybe not considered or viewed in our eyes as a small business, but I think it's really important to mention them. When I launched the sponsorship levels, I was thrilled when Tundra contacted me to be the signature sponsor. I want to thank them for seeing the value in giving back to those who actually make up the Tundra community, the makers and the buyers. That's all of us, right? In Savvy Shopkeeper land. We're makers, we're buyers, we're brick and mortar store owners, we're online shop owners. And those are all of the people that really build and create Tundra. What I didn't expect was that our own Savvy Shopkeeper members would step up in a big way. So again, thank you to Tundra, but I want to take a second to move forward and thank the people within our own community who supported this. The 2021 Savvy Shopkeeper Retreat swag bags were incredibly packed with goodies, like so much so that people had trouble traveling back home with them. So I have to think about that next year. And I want to say that the bags were so amazing because of our own community members. So I want to take this episode to share about each of the shopkeepers who donated to the bag or who donated to the retreat in general, because there are a couple others. All of these shopkeepers sell their handmade items, both retail and wholesale. And I'm going to link all of them in the show notes because I want you all to support them in any way possible, and I'll cover that at the end of this retreat. But you're going to find the show notes to this episode at savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 92. savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 92. So let's talk about the swag bag donors. Again, when I announced that we would have sponsorship levels, I threw in hoping other big brands, would donate to the swag bags. And I didn't have any big brands step up to do that. Aside from Tundra, who took the signature spot, really, in the end, the people that supported this retreat the most were the people in our own community. So I want to start off by talking about Mel Marie Skincare. She provided, this is Tracy, and Tracy and Carmela are a mother-daughter team. They're passionate about natural skincare. They started in 2013. And when they launched Mel Marie Skincare, they had one goal in mind, and it was to offer luxury natural bath products at affordable prices. And Tracy, I think, was maybe the first one in Savvy Shopkeepers, in the Shopkeepers Lab group, that spoke up and said, I want to donate to the swag bags. Didn't even ask how many swag bags, what was like the most she would have to provide. She didn't even ask that question. She just said, I'm donating. And I also think that her package was the first one that I opened, and I was overwhelmed. So Tracy donated these adorable makeup bags, silver, with an expression on the front that said, she dreams more often than she sleeps. Beautiful. But what blew me away even more was when I opened up the makeup bag and it was filled with products, eyeshadows, powder, I think a foundation powder, a lip balm. There was so much in this little makeup bag. It was fantastic. I loved it. And then the next donor that I want to mention is Bexley House. Now, Liz and Debbie are both Master Shopkeepers members, and Bexley House is located in North Carolina. It's a brick and mortar store. They donated hand-poured, full-sized candles and 2 wax melts. And this package, it was pretty big. It was in a box. It had a nice packaging. It had a bow on it. It had their sticker on top with another sticker. I think the sticker on the bottom of the box had their QR code. So they nailed the branding, and they made sure that people would know where to find them. I thought it was great. And when they said they were donating candles, I really thought it would be like a travel-sized candle. It was a full-sized candle. Their containers for the candles are beautiful. The wax melts came in these really cute bags. Actually, I didn't even realize until someone opened up the box that there were 2 wax melts in the box. Again, just really, really generous. And for them to ship 40 of those to my house, they were in really big boxes. They also had to be conscientious of the weather. They had to take that into consideration. So it delayed shipping by about a week because temperatures were way warmer than any of us expected. But I want to mention that Bexley House, this is how they describe their store. At Bexley House, we love all things vintage, vintage inspired and renewed vintage. Did we mention vintage? We also love helping our customers find that perfect piece for their home or that perfect gift for their friend. We met as neighbors who shared a love of decor, upcycling, painting furniture, Clayton, and entrepreneurship. So I love that they shared a little bit about what they love, the vintage, a little bit about their store, and a little bit about their partnership and relationship. Bexley House specializes in home decor and gifts. They sell their own hand-poured candles. Obviously, they're 100% soy candles, home decor, pillows, signs, lighted jars, and many other specialty items that celebrate North Carolina and Johnston County. So, of course, we're going to link Mel Marie Skincare. We're going to link Bexley House. We're also going to link their wholesale information pages because I think that's important. I know there are many brick and mortar store owners, obviously, who listen. The majority of the people who listen to this podcast, I would probably say 70, 80% are brick and mortar retail store owners. And I know we are all looking for brands to buy. So we're going to make sure that we list all of the wholesale links or how to buy wholesale from the people that donated to the swag bags too. All right, the next one is Anchored Soul Designs. And this is Stacy. Stacy is a member of the Shopkeepers Lab, and she hand-painted a wooden sign. That's their specialty, hand-painted wooden signs. And it said dream on it. So if you visit anchoredsouldesigns.com, you'll see on their website, they describe themselves as creating beautiful, handcrafted coastal decor for your home or store. Our signs are made from reclaimed wood, and every sign is unique. We began making signs in 2011 to create meaningful and fun decor around our own home. We believe in carefully cultivating spaces in your home that anchor in quotes, I love that, your soul and create a feeling of peace and rest. Stacy's been a member of the Shopkeepers Lab. She was a member of the free group when I had it from the beginning, and always really kind and supportive. And I know quite a few of the shopkeepers in our groups order signs from her. So be sure to check her out. And it was actually the conversation, I think we were PMing each other on Facebook, if I remember right, having a conversation about the sign she was going to make. And she asked me, what do you want the sign to say? And I said, I use so many strong, powerful words normally. I actually want to go into this retreat a little bit softer, and I want to use something a little bit lighter. And during that conversation, I said, I think I want to use the word dream. And that's what she did. And that actually kicked off what would turn out to be the theme of the entire retreat. So thank you, Stacy, for making my brain work a little bit harder on that and really making me think about what it was that I wanted to convey to everyone who opened the swag bag. And it was just a coincidence that Tracy's makeup bags also had the word dream on them. Okay, so the next donor was Purple Fern Bath. and this is Brenda. She's a Master Shopkeepers member. She makes beautiful handmade soaps. And on her website, it says, as a lover of handmade products, I took it upon myself to make the best soap I could imagine. Silky and soft with lots of lather, amazing aroma, beautiful to look at, and moisturizing for the skin. And I have to say, the second I opened up the box of soaps that she sent me to put in everyone's bag, it smelled so good. And they're all beautiful, nicely packaged. And that box sat in my dining room for a couple weeks. And every time I would step into my dining room, my whole entire dining room smelled incredible. So thank you to Brenda for sending those. I haven't tested them yet, but I could tell they're fantastic. And then the next one that I want to mention is Teresa of Embroidery from the Heart. Actually, let me go back to Brenda. Brenda's in Michigan and Teresa is in Pennsylvania. So Teresa is a Master Shopkeepers member and a founding Master Shopkeepers member. She's been with me on my journey for at least 3 years. And if you visit Teresa's website, it says, started in 2010, our company is about creating one-of-a-kind gifts and apparel for our customers. Our philosophy is you gotta have heart and passion about what you do for others to make them feel special. Whether you stop into our store or place your order online or by phone, we will take care of your creation. Happy stitching. It was kind of fun for me to check out everyone's website and see how they describe themselves and their businesses. And Teresa just has such a big heart. I adore her. She knows that. And when I first traveled with her, it was a couple years ago, we went to the Business Boutique Conference in the Nashville area. And it was me, her, and Kim, another Master Shopkeepers member. And she was so sweet. As soon as we checked into our Airbnb, she gave us a little gift. And it was a washcloth with the word makeup embroidered on it. Obviously, that's her specialty is embroidery. I still have that washcloth. I use it all the time. I told her I loved it. And she ended up donating 2, not just 1, but 2 embroidered washcloths to everyone in the group. And then, of course, it just happened to be perfect because Tracy donated the makeup bag. It's just all really weird how this all worked out. But it could not have been a more perfect, complimentary gift to go with the makeup bag. And of course, we'll have her website linked in the show notes. But she also mentioned, because I asked, they don't know this, but I asked everyone, what's the best way to place wholesale orders with you? And for Teresa, it's an email address. So we'll have that linked in the show notes too. And then the last one I want to mention is one of my longtime besties from high school. We met freshman year in high school, and I interviewed her for episode 90 of the Shopkeeper Story series. And that's Catesy of Rough Around the Etches. If you visit Catesy's website, it says locally inspired and sassy etched glass products, including unique drinking glasses, mugs, tumblers, and lanterns handmade in Cleveland, Ohio. Born and raised in Cleveland, I am inspired by my love for my hometown. I think about what we are known for, all the places I hold close to my heart, and how I can incorporate those things into my work. So obviously, I spent 30 minutes interviewing Kate, so you can go listen to episode 90. But again, etched glassware, we sell her etched glassware in our store, and it's always really popular. I'm constantly reordering from her. And I love that she's also willing to do custom things. So if you design something on your own and you want her to etch it for your store, for the glassware for your store, she'll do that too. But for this particular project, I had purchased tumblers. I actually bought them from Tundra. And I asked her to etch some of the designs that Sam of Hex Studios designed for me. And Catesy, I was intending on hiring Catesy and paying Catesy to do this, but in the end, she would not take my money. And she donated her time and her etching. And she etched all of these small tumblers, and everyone loved them. They were great. They're also going to be available in the Savvy Shopkeeper online shop to purchase. So I'll talk about that in a future episode. But thank you to Catesy for generously doing that. I didn't have an expectation to get that service for free, but I really appreciate it. I know it took a lot of time to etch 60 tumblers, so thank you. And then the next person that I want to mention actually donated a door prize. It was the only door prize that was donated. And this is Lisa of Bride and Baker Designs, of course, which I also interviewed for episode 91. And if you visit Lisa's website, brideandbakerdesigns.com, she describes her business as an artist and surface pattern designer. I wanted to create an eclectic mix of home goods, art, and accessories that were unique and one of a kind while staying at home to be with my toddler. With my husband's help, we started Bride and Baker Designs from our home studio, where we design, create, and handcraft all the items in our shop. We love being able to have our son help us bring home goods into the world for others to enjoy. It truly is a family business. Lisa hand makes a variety of items, and included in the package that she donated was a big bowl and a small bowl, one of her pretty notebooks, and I want to say there were a couple other things. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I really appreciated it because then we bundled it up with some other things. I threw in some Savvy Shopkeeper apparel. We threw in a mug from Pink and Frillos that we bought at April's store. It was just a cute door prize to give away. It kind of had like parts and pieces of everything. So thank you to Lisa for doing that. I really appreciate it. It's actually one thing I want to work on next year, is to have more and better door prizes. Although the swag bags were amazing alone, I don't think anyone would have expected anything else, but I love to do door prizes, and I'm hoping to do something more fun with that next year. And then I think the last person that I want to mention is Elisa. Elisa is a Master Shopkeepers member, and she was so kind because she's also a professional photographer. We'll have her website linked in the show notes. Elisa, I think it's vtree.com. I'll spell it. ELISA and then V like Victor, IETRI. ElisaVtree.com. Elisa, gosh, I hope I'm saying your last name right. I feel like I should know that. Anyhow, when I had mentioned that we were doing like a fun photo kind of session outside at the grain bins on the farm, Elisa offered to do headshots for everyone. And I thought that was so sweet because she's supposed to be there. She purchased a ticket to enjoy the retreat. She's supposed to be there enjoying herself and learning and connecting with everyone. And she spent some time taking headshots for everyone. And then on top of it all, luckily the weather was okay over the 2 days. But of course, this probably within like 30 minutes of us heading out to do headshots, it poured. And I was like, crazy thunderstorm. Just bananas. It was like just for 1 hour. I wouldn't say it ruined the day. It definitely ruined the day. But when I did the survey for the retreat at the end, quite a few people mentioned that the least favorite part of the retreat was the rain. Luckily, that's nothing I can control, but it was a little bit of a bummer. And then, which leads me to the last person that I want to mention. But before I do that, I want to add that I had Elisa come up and explain to everyone like how they could get prepared for their headshot. And when she came up, she gave a couple tips or a couple things that she wanted them to think about so she could get a really natural look for their headshots. And right before she wrapped that up, she said, I don't expect payment for this. I'm doing this out of generosity. She said, but if you would like, give a donation to the Savvy Support Fund. I had no idea she was doing this. We both teared up, and I really appreciated it because it was just her, I guess, validating how special the support fund is, which I also plan on talking about in the future. The most important part that I want to mention today is that Elisa did that, and she did that out of the kindness of her heart. So not only did she volunteer her time, but then suggested that people donate to the fund. So thank you, Elisa. I think you know it meant a ton to me. It was such a sweet surprise, and I really appreciate it. So speaking of the rain, the one person that ended up, there were a few people who did get soaked, but the one person who probably got soaked the most was Maureen. And Maureen is the owner of the CoLab in Lakewood, Ohio, and the owner of Home for the Holidays pop-up shop, also in Lakewood, Ohio. And it's so important that I thank her. She is a biz bestie. And of course, I gave her a free ticket and, wanted her along for the ride for doing this for me. But really, Maureen didn't have to do this. And she unfortunately received a little bit of bad news before we left for the retreat, but still was able to attend with me. And what's probably stood out the most, other than the poor woman getting soaked in the rain, is that she just really paid attention to the details for me. As much as I think I could do it all, I can't. And again, it's just running this retreat is a really big effort, and having her with me all 4 days, because we got there 2 days early, having her there with me and having her pay attention to all of the little details that I didn't have time to pay attention to, or just being the buffer between me and other tasks or things that I had to do or people that I had to speak with. I didn't always have time to squeeze it all in. And she just really stepped up and helped me in countless ways. And it's so important that I say thank you to her, because I could not have pulled this off without her. So thank you, Maureen, from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate it. All right, so many people to thank. I could probably thank way more. I just can't squeeze it all in. I really wanted to focus on the people who volunteered and generously gave their time, talent, and products to this retreat. I also want to wrap this up by sharing some of the testimonials from the retreat, because I haven't been able to share a ton of details. And the 2 days were really packed with sessions and connecting and probably stories. So I just want to wrap this up by sharing some of the testimonials. The first one, this person said, "One of my joys in attending this event was witnessing the pride of accomplishment in both you and April. The inspiration that comes from seeing badass women bask in a moment of, I did this, I followed my path, and it's really good. I'm so here for it." The next person said, "Living on the post-retreat high today, smiling with all the memories and new thoughts running through my brain. It's going to take a few days to process all the thought gems. I loved every minute, ! Grateful for Kathy and all the participants." The next attendee said, "I drove about 5 hours in silence, still absorbing everything. This was exactly what a retreat should be." The next shopkeeper said, "I knew that I liked you before meeting you in person, but I was so pleased to find that, even in person, you are the real deal. It is rare to meet someone as genuinely kind and considerate of others, and I want to let you know what a rare gem I think you are." Of course, that one meant a ton to me personally, because this one was specifically about me and hopefully my integrity. And it was just really special. So you know who you are. I really appreciate that. The next one, she said, "So much was learned and shared that it will take a while for me to process it all. I knew when I found Savvy Shopkeeper and Master Shopkeepers that this was an incredible group of people, but after meeting a lot of them in person, I feel it's an even more extraordinary group that I can learn from and lean on. This was an absolutely lovely event. Thanks so much, April and Fruchthaven Farm, that I feel guilty calling it a business retreat. You're amazing, Kathy. Don't forget it." And then the last one I want to share, this shopkeeper said, "What an honor being in the company of this gang of brave and badass business owners. Kathy, you freaking killed it. Yet another invaluable experience from the time we had to hang out to that book of yours. And let's not forget that Saturday night sipper." I think that was a fun one to end it with. You'll see, hopefully you don't have any kids listening, but you'll see a recurring pattern here with the word badass business owners. That came up a lot during this retreat, and it was amazing. For those of you that were there, you probably have a smile on your face at those moments that popped up. And yes, that Saturday night sipper was really good. I plan on sharing so many pictures and so many more stories about this event, probably throughout many future podcast episodes. But the one thing that I want to say, and the one thing that stood out the most, is that community does matter. And every shopkeeper that I mentioned in this episode truly embraces community. I can wholeheartedly say that the 2021 Savvy Shopkeeper Retreat was hands down one of the most incredible experiences of my own life. And it was because of all of the shopkeepers who participated, everyone who showed up to donate, everyone who showed up to invest in themselves, everyone, who supported it, encouraged me, cheered all of us along the way, everyone that connected and genuinely gave while they were there. I would love for you to go and show the shopkeepers who donated to this event some love. And we all know how to do this. We all share those posts that say, you don't have to buy from a small business owner to support them. But of course, if you want to, that's great. I would love you to visit the show notes for this episode and go follow all of these shopkeepers. Follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram. Send them a thank you for being such incredible shopkeepers. Comment on their posts, like their posts, shop with them, buy retail, or if you love what they have and you think it's a good fit for your store, go order wholesale from them. It really means a lot to me, and I know it would mean a ton to them. And again, we don't have to show each other love just exchanging dollars. There are so many other ways to do it. Again, I feel like a broken record, but I just can't say thank you. I can't say thank you enough to everyone involved in this entire retreat. If you want to see the show notes to this episode and find links to all of these amazing shopkeepers, visit my blog at savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 92. Until the next episode, be savvy and boss up.